40 years I've been making surfboards for, believe it or not, and you guys have been a big part of it. I've brought some old boards that I got given once we had the fire and I lost a lot of my collection. I was lucky enough to walk in the Pipe Dream surf shop to get an opportunity to shape surfboards and make surfboards from the ground up, from making fins, glassing, and then eventually shaping. It was just at the time when single fins were phased out and Simon Anderson was bringing out the thruster and everything was new. So it was a really good time for me. This is one of my boards, but this is what we were riding. So this is Pipe Dream, where I started. Textured deck. Have a look at that nose lift on that board, there isn't any.
It goes back down.
Look at the fins. Look how small they are. Full V bottom. I didn't know anything about concaves back then.
When did you shape your first board?
84.
How old were you?
22? 22?
Under Murray.
Under Murray. So that was the...
So you're saying you're old because I was 3. And I'm old.
But this one is what I came into work at Pipe Dream. No rocker, thick rails, dead flat deck. The boards had V, there was no such thing as concave at the time. And I kept on getting a lot of these boards that Murray would shape as well for other team riders, and I'd ride them, and I just didn't like them, especially because we were surfing a lot of Kira, a lot of snapper, the waves were very curvy, and these boards were really flat. Then we started getting a little bit more rocker, which was this one, in the same sort of era, probably 2 years later.
Oh, these logos are so good.
But look at the sprays, look at the grips, all glass on fins. Where we're getting our blanks at Burford's were only as good as the blanks we were getting, which were very flat. So we couldn't actually put more rocker in the blanks. So I went in and saw the guys at Burford's there and explained to them what I wanted, and to this day, it's still their biggest selling blank, and we're talking 35 years ago, which is called the 64P. P stands for Pipe Dream. And I put more rocker in the blank. Same blank, but they can just bend it up and put more rocker in. And all of a sudden, we started getting a little bit more rocker in the nose of the boards. The tails were still quite flat. The fins started getting a little bit bigger. We still had V in the centre of the boards. We were playing around with a little bit of double concave. I was playing a lot around with swallowtails. Murray didn't like doing swallowtails because it was an extra 5 minutes of work for every board you did. This is where it started getting good. This is when we started putting a little bit more rocker in the boards, you know, tighten up the tail. Look how good that little tight tail is. This is 6.3. I was riding 6.3, 6.2s. You, when you started, were probably riding 6.1s.
I was a kid.
But once you got on tour...
5.6s. Once I was on tour, I was riding 6.1s.
Yeah. And I think you were 6.1s and 6.0s. I mean, that logo's pretty sick.
It's insane. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Is that a portrait of you on a Sunday morning?
Pretty much. But this board here, and this is what I love about this one, this was the first single double concaves we were doing. Hence, we put a single concave double logo on it. And this is where it all started. My boards were so much different than everyone else. Every 7 years I usually change my logo, and this is where you got to love Murray Burton. He was really big on logos. He was really big on plan shapes, like making sure it's got a really nice outline. But what he didn't do the work on, except probably in big guns, was on the rockers, and that's where I stood in and done a lot of work on rockers. And this was it. This was the first single double concave that we made, and it was a game changer.
This is when I started riding for you, this was like your last year in Pipe Dream, right?
You look huge, your back fin looks bigger.
Well, that's what they used to do, like the side fins were smaller, and they always thought that the back fin was where all the control was.
Yeah.
But we had no drive from concave. I've measured this one. This one's got 6 inches of nose lift and 3 inches of tail lift. So it's an inch more tail and an inch more nose compared to what we ride
What we do today. Out of all your eras, what has been like your favourite or most successful?
It was this era. I left Pipe Dream and I started my own glassing company with 2 other guys. Jay was on board, he was ripping. There was some days you'd go down to the point of Kira, it wasn't as crowded as it is today, but there was nearly everyone running around the point had one of my boards. And it was like, wow. How good do I feel? And that was before JS was working for me at the time, so he hadn't started making boards yet.
King of the point.
I was king of the point, but I was king of the nightclubs too. And that's where Murray said he could never keep up with me because I was surfing all day, partying all night, and I was taking orders at 2 o'clock in the morning at the bar, getting up at 6 and shaping them and then surfing all day. But great time, a lot of energy. Then we started getting all sexy. Let's put flyers in them, let's put swallows in them. And then we started going, how do we make them lighter? So we got the fins that I was making, or cutting out the centres of them, filling up with this light, what's called Q-cell. And that'll drop the weight of a board another 150 grams. Mick Fanny was just starting to ride for me, but he was only 12 years old. Stephanie Gilmore as well, she was only 12 or 13. But then I started attracting bigger surfers. And that was when Luke Egan, who his dad makes surfboards, Sam Egan, came to me, and Luke started riding my boards on tour. Signature Luke Egan spray. And this is Luke riding 6.5s as his shortboard, 19 and a half, 2.5. And I know today Luke only rides 5.11s and 6.0s.
Back when we were growing up, it was like you had to learn to use the rail because these boards wouldn't carry. Where now it feels like everyone's like hop, 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 huge turn, hop, 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 huge air.
Yeah, I think it's better for your surfing progression to start on a longer board and then work your way back, maybe back up again. But
definitely. I really enjoy riding longer boards. It's good for my surfing. Doesn't make me all jerky because I'm trying to fit turns in and trying to keep up with the young kids. Some of the old school guys, Wayne Dean, back in the day, on those 6, 8 boards out Kira, look beautiful. Good for your style. That's one way to fix your style up is having a longer board.
plenty of people I watch on tour that I'm like, oh, if they just jumped on a longer board, it would really fix a lot of their kinks.
There was this bloke called Kelly Slater. He was riding such narrow boards, so thin, carbon strips. And then that was where this sort of thing came out. It's really thin. It's only 17 3/4. It's got the lightweight fins. It's glass really light. It's got the carbon to stiffen it up. And it's got all that nose lift. And the reason it had to have all that nose lift is because you couldn't paddle them. If you had to guess the volume of these things, they're probably 22 litres, what we were riding as 75 kilo guys. But once you got on the wave, oh my God, they were like rocket ships. So there it is, 40 years of experience in manufacturing of surfboards. And then I'm going to create what I think was my key surfboard at that time, which was a single double concave, glass on fins, nice little tight squash tail. Everything that I've learned over that time, I'm just going to recreate something that's out there for Mick and Steph to try and ride, and there'll be a few available for all you guys out there if you want to have a little trip down memory lane and just see what that 40 years of experience feels like.